Morning dear students, welcome once again. We have discussed and we are discussing the question answers of chapter number 4 agriculture, right? Earlier than that we have discussed about what is agriculture and what are the different types of agriculture or types of farming, right? So now let's discuss the question answers of this chapter. The first question of your textbook states that what is agriculture? What do you mean by the term agriculture? So first of all, you should make sure that it is a primary activity. What is a primary activity? Activity that is connected, that is related with the extraction and production of natural resource or the resources, right? So this is a primary activity which includes growing of crops, fruits, vegetables and rearing of livestock. Rearing of livestock means domestication of animals, taking care of animals. Livestock means animals, rearing, taking care, breeding, domestication. Okay, so many terms are there. So activity, a primary activity which is related with growing of crops, fruits, vegetables and rearing of animals is called agriculture. Agriculture does not only include growing of crops, but it include taking care of animals also, domestication of animals also, mind you. Okay, so this is about agriculture. Your another question is, name the factors influencing agriculture. You have to name the factor, you have to give the factor affecting agriculture, influencing agriculture. Okay, so what are the factors? The first one is your topography, different kind of land forms, whether it is hill or whether it is plain, whether it is river valley, whether it is plateau, what kind of land form it is. So depending on topography, our agriculture is being done. So this is the factor. Another factor, soil. Soil is also a factor based on which agriculture is being affected. Third factor, climate. What sort of climate it is, whether it is summer, winter, or what kind of climate it is, so which crop can be grown during that season. So these are some of the factors that affect agriculture, that give an influence to the agriculture, right? So it is topography, soil and climate. These are some of the factors which influence agriculture. Clear? Your third question is, what is shifting cultivation? From the very beginning I am telling you, shifting cultivation, very important question. And another question is attached to it, what are its disadvantages? That means you have to first define shifting cultivation and then you also have to say what are its disadvantages. So shifting cultivation, clearing up of forest, then burning up of bush, then ash obtained is mixed with the soil and then scattered on the ground to make it fertilized. After that, growing up of crops, then harvesting it and then moving on to another plot of land for the same activity. That is shifting cultivation, right? So shifting cultivation or slash and burn cultivation, mind you, another name of shifting cultivation is slash and burn cultivation. is a type of farming activity which involves, which include, which has clearing plot of land. Plot of land is cleared first by felling trees, by cutting down of trees, right? So by felling up of trees, we clear the plot of land. Then bushes are burnt, small bushes, small plants on the ground are burnt down, right? Then we get ash, right? Ashes are obtained. Those ashes are mixed with the soil, so it involves mixing the ashes with soil and then growing crops like maize, yam, potatoes and cassava on cleared land. Okay, so these are some of the types of crops that are basically grown, like yam, maize, potato, cassava. Okay, and when the land loses its fertility, after some time, when the land's fertility is taken by crops, the land automatically loses its fertility. And once the land loses its fertility, the land is abandoned, it is being banned, and cultivator moves to another plot, moves to different plot. That is the meaning of shifting cultivation. Okay, another question is, what are its disadvantages? What are the disadvantages of it? Trees are cut down, so deforestation is the first disadvantage. We need to cut the trees, so deforestation is first a disadvantage. Another disadvantage, when the trees got cut down, there is a chance of soil erosion, blowing away of soil, top fertile part of soil. Okay, and another disadvantage of it is, after some time soil loses the fertility because crops take away all the fertility, and as a result soil lose its fertility. Soil did not have the fertility inside them. So these are some of the disadvantages of shifting cultivation. Another question is what is plantation agriculture? In the notes also I have discussed what is plantation agriculture. It is a type of commercial farming, right? It is a type of commercial farming where single crop of tea, coffee, sugarcane, rubber, banana, etc. are grown. In this type of farming, large amount of labor and capital is required. That means large number of labor as well as large number of capital. Too much money and too much manpower is required in plantation agriculture. So a type of commercial farming in which a single crop of sugarcane or banana or rubber or something like that can be grown, and in this kind of agriculture, in this type of plantation agriculture, your large amount of labor is required as well as large amount of capital is also required, right? So this is the meaning of plantation agriculture. All these things are written in a very simple word, mind you, very easy words. So you have to make points and remember the things. Another question is, name the fiber crops and name the climatic conditions required for their growth. You have to first give the name of fiber crops. Fiber crops from which your clothes and other stuff, materials are being made, right? So fiber crops, give an example of fiber crop, name some of the fiber crop. Here I have taken cotton and jute. So cotton and jute are known as fiber crops. Okay, cotton and jute. The climatic conditions, and one more question is attached to it. The climatic condition required for their growth. What kind of climate is suitable, is favorable for such kind of crop, for such kind of fiber crop? Okay, for jute, mind you, which is also known as golden fiber. Underline it. Name the golden fiber. It is jute, which is known as golden fiber. Okay, what kind of temperature it requires? What kind of climatic condition it requires? High temperature. First of all, it needs high temperature, more than 25 degrees centigrade, 25 degrees C. Okay, so more than 25 degrees C temperature, high temperature is required. Apart from that, heavy rainfall also it require. Okay, and warm and humid climate is required for the growth of jute. So this is the basic condition, basic climatic condition required for the jute to grow. High temperature, more than 25 degrees C, heavy rainfall, and after heavy rainfall they need a hot and warm humid climate. Okay, so that is the factor, that is the climatic condition required for the growth of jute. Another fiber crop is your cotton. For cotton, high temperature of around 30 to 40 degrees C is required. That means temperature of around 30 to 40 degree is required. Low rainfall is required in case of cotton. In case of jute, heavy rainfall was required. But in case of cotton, low rainfall. And most importantly, very important thing to know about the cotton plantation, 210 frost free days. That means no frost should be there for at least 7 months, right? So 210 frost free days and bright sunshine is required. Okay, at the time of ripening you can say, or when the cotton is about to get well ripe, RIP, when it gets mature or when it riped up, then 210 frost free days are required, as well as bright sunshine is required, right? Yes, so these are the basic conditions. Okay, another question coming to your way is give reason. Okay, in India agriculture is a primary activity. Why in India agriculture is primary activity? Because 2/3 of India's population is dependent upon what? Upon agriculture. Just because 2/3 of India's population, our population is not in millions but in billions, right? So 2/3 of it, calculate 2/3 of it. So 2/3 of the India's population, a huge amount of population is dependent on agriculture. So it is a primary activity in our country. It is the basic activity in our country. It is one of the important activity of our country. Clear? Yes, because 2/3 of the India's population is dependent upon agriculture. That's why it is considered as primary activity, and about 50% of the people are engaged. That's why it is a primary activity. Your another reason, different crops are grown in different regions. Yes, for different crops, different area is required. Why different crops are grown in different region? Just because we get different climatic condition, we get different soil condition, we get different topographical feature, geographical condition you can say. That's why different crops are grown in different region. Okay, growing of crops depend upon the geographical condition. Mind you, on what factors growing of crops is dependent? They are dependent on geographical condition, topographical condition, right? Geographical condition, labor and level of technology, what kind of technology we are using. So on these factors growing of crop depends. Favorable topography, suitable topography of the soil also plays important role. Climate also plays an important role in selection of crops. If we want to grow one particular crop, we have to choose particular soil, particular land, particular climate, particular topography, right? Everything is needed for that. Okay, selection to be made. That's why different crops are grown in different regions. Different crops are grown in different areas. Here the region means area. Okay, so different crops are grown in different regions because crops growth depends on geographical condition, level of technology, labor, favorable topography of the soil, climate, and all these conditions or factors. And these conditions are not equal or similar at all places. That's why different crops are grown in different regions. Clear? Yes. Now your question is distinguish between, you have to make a difference. First is your primary activity and tertiary activity. Very simple question. Primary activity, first you define primary activity: connected or concerned or related with the extraction and production of natural resource. So those activities which are related with the extraction and production of natural resource, these are called primary activity. Whereas tertiary activity provides support to the primary as well as secondary activity or secondary sector. Okay, so the primary activity is concerned or connected with the extraction and production of natural resource, whereas tertiary activity is related to supporting of primary and secondary activity or sector, right? Example of it: primary activity agriculture, fishing, mining, etc. are primary activity. Tertiary activity banking, transport, trade, etc. are your tertiary activity. Another distinguishing feature is your subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming. Okay, subsistence farming, the farming practiced to meet the need of farmer's family. This kind of farming is done to meet the requirement of the farmer, right, and farmer's family. But this is one of the types of subsistence farming. Remember, subsistence farming is divided into two types: intensive subsistence farming, right, and primitive subsistence farming. Okay, so subsistence farming is practiced to meet the need of the farmer's family, and intensive farming, intensive subsistence farming, it is one of the type of subsistence farming. Okay. Another point of difference, in subsistence farming, it involves the use of low level of technology and household labor. We use household labor, we use less number of labor and low level of technology, or maybe labor may be required but low level of technology. That means simple tools are used, right? Simple tools are used along with labor. Moreover, in intensive farming, cultivation of small plot of land, is cultivated using simple tools and more labor. Here lies the difference. Here low level of technology, simple tools are used, okay, but in order to differentiate the things, here more labor is required, here only household labor is required, or you can say less number of labor is required. Okay, so this is the difference between subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming. Now it's time to begin with the internal question answers. Look at the questions very carefully. Your first question, name the 3 sectors of activities done by people. 3 sectors of activity. That means what are different types of activity. Activity is divided into 3 sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary, right? So the 3 sectors of activities done by people are primary, secondary and tertiary. So primary, secondary and tertiary are the 3 sectors of activities which are being done by the people, right? Another question, what is meant by arable land? What do you mean by the term arable land? What is the meaning of arable land? The word arable land means the land which is available for agriculture, the land which is used for agriculture, the land on which we do the cultivation, the agriculture is known as arable land. Okay, the land available for agriculture is arable land. You can try to frame your answers in your own words also. Okay, so there is no hard and fast rule that the answer will be exactly the true copy of sir's answer. Okay, you have to understand the things. The land that can be used for growing crops, the land that is used for agriculture is known as arable land. Okay, so arable land, land that can be used for growing crops. Here if you write agriculture, inside agriculture, rearing of domesticated animals or rearing of animals also come. So the land on which crops are grown, that is known as arable land. That is an exact word for it. Okay. Your another question is, you have to define nomadic herding. What is nomadic herding? So herdsmen or people who are taking care of animals move from one place to another with their animals, right? In search of fodder, water, shelter, right? So those people are nomadic herders. So that is nomadic herding, right? Herdsmen, okay? People who are taking care of animals are herdsmen. Herdsmen move from one place to another with their animals for fodder and water. Fodder means food of animals or food you can say. Okay, so that is the meaning of nomadic herding. Clear? So this is all about your this chapter. Let's see what is your homework is. Note it down fast, your homework. Learn all question answers of the chapter. Another question is, distinguish between subsistence farming and intensive farming. Okay, and what is shifting cultivation? You have to write its disadvantages. So these are your homeworks. In my next session, I will continue with some different chapter of different book. Okay, either it will be history, civics or geography. So till then, enjoy with your family. Have a nice day. Have a wonderful day. Keep learning. Bye.